Hello and welcome back. I'm Nicole, a cottage witch, and today I'm going to quickly run through my pre-Christmas, Christmas adjacent but not quite Christmas acquisitions, just to get them out of the way before I go away for Christmas. I've got a few decks that I've gotten. One is L'Oracle des Fleurs Nocturnes. Still can't do the R's properly. Because I wanted some decks to use more with plants but in the winter, and also I need to learn some of the French names for plants because I do not know them. That's a funny midnight candy. I don't know what plant that is, but the drawings are cute, but also kind of dark and cool and nighttime. And I thought maybe this would be an interesting winter plant deck. And some of the plants are very much not from anywhere, like where I live, like dragon fruit. And I think some of the plants are poisonous, so there's a whole variety of plants, not all of which I'm familiar with. But I mean, I really like the artwork. And yeah, so that's part of that. And the guidebook will be my double as French study material. And then the other deck I got for the same reason is the Happy Houseplant, because, and it's not an oracle deck or anything, it's meant to be just a deck about houseplants to teach you how to take care of them. But I'm not very, I like my houseplants, but I'm not as connected with them as I am with my balcony garden or outdoor, just wild plants. If I could keep a peperomia alive, I'd be happy. But then on the back it has sort of what conditions it needs to thrive, and a little bit about the plants and where it's from and everything. And I think the artwork is pretty cute. Don't think I've been able to keep that plant alive either. Some of these genuses, genii, I don't know. This plant I can keep alive. I'm not very familiar with. And this one I'm getting better at. So I'd like to learn more about my plants. And I mean, I've sort of figured out which ones thrive in my environment. These ones do not, because it is way too dry here. They're not happy about Alberta weather. Excuse me. Yeah, these don't like Alberta weather either. These, however, are some of my favorites. They're gorgeous and amazing, and I've got about 3 of them. 4 of them? I don't know, several. And I love them. So yeah, I'll learn a little bit more about, like, when I get plants I'm not familiar with, I do tend to look up what sort of conditions they need to try to figure out where to put them in my apartment and that sort of thing, because I've got plants all over the place. But it never hurts to learn a little bit more, I think. So that is the Happy Houseplant, which, with any luck, will help me both keep my houseplants happy and help me connect with them a little bit more this winter. Okay, a couple other decks I got are very little. This is the Craft Decadence Oracle. I think it's on not Make Playing Cards. What's the other one? Game Crafters. Which may theoretically be cheaper, but there are import fees in Canada, so it's not quite cheaper. Let's look a little closer. But it's a really cute and interesting little collage deck that just, I like the keywords, I like the images, and the overall tone is very interesting. The part of decadence that is inseparable from decay is definitely a component of this deck, which I think is pretty interesting. I do like that one other thing I'll say is I do like that the little pamphlet here, it doesn't really expand on the keywords, because the keywords I think are good enough, but it does tell you what the artwork is that's used in the imagery, and I appreciate that, because then if there's certain images I like or certain people that I think I recognize, I can look them up, and that's fun. So yeah, really like this one. Probably have to find, oh, I pulled out a different bag for this one. I don't usually store things in bags, but I think I'm gonna have to, because this box does not like me. I mean, I don't think it would like anybody, but it's slightly too big for the deck and just doesn't want to stay closed, and does this super fun thing where cards start sliding out. So I think it's gonna have to go in a bag, and I'll just stash the box somewhere. So that's the Craft Decadence Oracle. Who is this by? La Green Witch. I think she's got another site. I can't remember whether she or they, or I'm not sure. Anyway, it's super cute and fun, but cute in like a dangerous sort of way. The other tiny little thing I got is the Crow Tarot Pocket Edition. I'm really enjoying this like pocket mini deck trend at the moment, because there are some decks, like what have I ordered for the new year? The Rose Oracle and the Wild Unknown Archetypes decks are both coming out in mini in a tin decks in the new year, sometime like March or something. And I've pre-ordered those because they're both, along with this one, decks that intrigued me, but I didn't know if I wanted to spend $30 or $40 on them, you know? So with these little ones that are like $20, I think, okay, I can justify that. I haven't gone through this yet, so it's still in order. But it's, yeah, I like it. I didn't know if it would be too much the same as, I've got a couple others of her decks, but I don't think it is. But yeah, I don't really know much about it yet. I haven't spent much time with it, but it's cute and I like her artwork. And yeah, I'm glad it came out in a pocket edition, so I could just sort of give it a try and see if I like it without quite so much like financial cost if I didn't like it. So that's the Crow Tarot. And then the last deck I've gotten is this big thing, which is the Witch Sister Tarot by Julia Jeffrey. And I'm really excited about this one. I got this one a couple days ago. Didn't go through it right away. And I had a dream that night about how I should have gone through it right away. So I went through it yesterday. And it's so beautiful. I love the depictions in here, particularly of the older woman, and the wildness. There's definitely a wildness to this, even when she's like properly dressed. She's not a tame person. But yeah, I like a lot of the older wrinkly faces and the gray hair and everything, and that's beautiful. And I particularly like that it's Scottish, because that is my ancestry. Like the inside of the box says, "The magic of the ancestors beats in your blood. Feel its power and free your wild soul." And I mean, Scottish and Irish folks are actually my ancestors, amongst others. So I'm pretty happy about this one. And most, like, I don't like some of the sort of generic Celtic material out there, because that's beautiful. There just is no generic Celtic culture. That's not a thing. But yeah, see the older, like that's the star. That's so beautiful. And a lot of the material that is specific to a Celtic culture is Irish, which is great. I love it. But there's less available that is Scottish. This is one of my favorite cards ever. It's so beautiful. I love her. So yeah, I'm really excited that, and the guidebook seems really good. I'm actually gonna, I don't usually read through guidebooks. Sometimes I'll use them as a reference if I have questions about a card. But I think after Christmas, this will be one of those guidebooks that I actually read through cover to cover, because it has a lot of the folklore. It lists what some of the plants and animals are too, which is lovely. And it seems to have a fair bit of information about the culture, and I know less about Scottish culture than others. So, I mean, others that I have ancestry connected to. Ooh, henbane. That's interesting. I think there's a Selkie card in here. When I flipped through it, I saw one that was, I'm pretty sure, is a Selkie, which is a myth that has made it to Canada on the East Coast. That is a at least moderately common enough myth that I've heard of it out on the prairies. So that is the Witch Sister Tarot, and I am so excited about that. Very, very happy. Oh, now I'm falling apart. Making a mess. Oh well. Okay. I did also go to a bookshop and got a few journals. This one I don't know what I'm going to do with yet. It's one of these covers that's like hardback, but sort of bendy hardback. Just a plain old journal, but I liked the cover and it seems pretty sturdy. I got a dream journal, which I've only used for a few days, but my dreams are ridiculous, and I'm on a medication that actually makes them more vivid, so writing some of them down now, and they're bananas. And then I got this sort of, oh, the leather is still pretty stiff, book that I'm using for herbalism, that I think I've talked about before, but keeping some information about plants that I'm learning about, and then I'll put some recipes in the section in the back for teas and things that I make for myself, and balms and that sort of thing. I'm not like a herbalist for other people. I'm a herbalist trainee for myself. All right. And then the books that I got this month are, here are the new ones. So there's Self-Loved, A Month of Meditations by Anna Fable. This is Reiki with Anna is her YouTube channel, and I like it. So I got this. Like, I like her energy on her channel, so I thought, this could be pretty interesting. So basically every day there's a little introduction and then just a meditation that you can do. It's a few pages long for each day. And then it looks like an affirmation at the end. So that's pretty cool. There are, I think, like 3 of them or something. How many are there? 30? 30. So a month's worth, as the title suggests. Okay, clearly the caffeine has not kicked in yet this morning. Then I got Woman, Life, Freedom, Voices and Art from the Women's Protests in Iran. This is a new book that has just come out, but it's got some beautiful images of Iranian women and some writing and whatnot about their protests recently, and I posted some about that on my Instagram. Mahsa, I can't pronounce the H when it's in the middle of a word like that. Mahsa Amini was the woman who died, who sort of kicked off these, or sort of spurred the start of these protests. And I mean, I say she died, the regime killed her. And so yeah, this is a book about those protests and about what different people are doing. And it just seemed really fascinating to me. So I've got that. And then I've got Protecting the Prairies, which is something about the politics of conservation. And the prairies are disappearing in Canada. I mean, we've got very little left. And still, even with the little that's left, there are companies that want to, quote unquote, develop it. And developing it always means destroying it and then building something different on top. I mean, they really do rip out, like with bulldozers, rip up the entire prairie and then build new like suburbs and things. So this is about trying to save the little bits of the prairies that are left. I think it's focused mostly on Saskatchewan, which is fine because that's where I'm from, even though I live in Alberta now. But yeah, so that I thought that would be interesting because I don't know much about the history. Like there are a few Instagram accounts like Alberta Wildlife that I follow, and they have some preservation efforts. Like there are some wetlands up north that are in danger because of some oil companies who claim they won't impact it, but really everybody knows they will. And there's very little of that left too. So yeah, that's that. And then in January, February, I want to start learning the runes a bit more. I've made my own set of runes. I went around Calgary, where I live, and found a rock that I feel fits each of the runes and labeled it. But that's about as far as I've gotten. So I can't remember who I heard about this book from, but I've heard it's quite good. It's got some of the like source literature this is from the Have 'em All, which I have not read. That's a funny little, anyway, and then what it is in different incarnations, which is pretty cool. Some of the history and culture about each rune. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this in January. What else does it have? I'll find the. Is there an introduction or a table of contents? Yes. Okay. So, oh, and then it does have some chapters at the end. Magic and the runes, writing with the runes, divination, different readings, casting the runes, and recommended reading. That's always fun. That's a funny way to spell bibliography. But anyway, looking forward to that. I've heard good things about it, so hopefully it's good. And then I got 3 secondhand books. Wild Seed by Octavia Butler I found in a free little free library, never remember. Anyway, I've read a couple of books of hers and love them. I've already got a couple others that I haven't read, but she's one of these authors that I sort of feel like, you know, by the end of my life, whenever that is, maybe I'll have read all of them. She was very, like, one of the first modern science fiction writers. Certainly one of the first who was a Black woman, and very well renowned, and really sort of paved the way for other, both women and people of color in that particular genre, and it's fantastic. Then I got Earth Walking Sky Dancers, which is a book about women's pilgrimages to sacred places. I don't know what I'll think about this book. I have no idea, but there are different places from all over the world that are sacred to various people, and yeah, and these are just different stories by different women from literally around the entire globe about their traveling to sites that are sacred to them or their culture or whatever. So yeah, that could be interesting. Not sure. And then I got Embroidery and Nature. This was, I think this was also in a, no, did I order this one? I can't remember. It's definitely secondhand. And it's from, I think the 70s or 80s, 1980. But it has some pretty cool patterns and just fascinating examples throughout history and around the world of nature in embroidery, and then how images of nature get converted into embroidery, and it's all black and white, but it's pretty cool. And yeah, I find it a little bit mesmerizing. So I'm not sure, I don't think this is a practical, like, how to do embroidery book, but so much as it is about how embroidery has been done throughout the years and in various places. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, people are just so imaginative and so creative, and nature is gorgeous, and when you combine those two things together, you just get really inventive, beautiful things, and I love it. Wait, oh, that's parsley. Okay. And the thistle, cute. Yeah, so sorry, I got distracted just looking at all the images in that one. So those are my December right up until Christmas acquisitions, and then I'll do another one of these presumably in January with my post-Christmas acquisitions. But that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.